Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing?
Hello.
My name is Pedro Cruz, and here we have Binu. Binu, say hi to everyone.
Hi, everyone. I'm Binu Midur, and I'm a developer advocate with IBM.
Awesome.
Over to you.
We are so excited to get started today to talk a little bit more about Call for Code. We're reaching the deadline. It's the last 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. And by now, you should probably have your application ready to go. You should be in the final process of testing. You should be either wrapping up your video or finishing your code or just deploying your application. For those of you who are not participating this year, don't worry, we're actually going to have a lot of great content and a lot of great things coming up soon. But this AMA, or Ask Us Anything, would be to talk about any questions you have about Call for Code, the submission, the video. So just before we get started, where is everyone from? I'm from Puerto Rico. Binu, where are you from?
I'm from India. I'm from India.
What time is it over there?
It's 9:30 p.m. It's
9:30 p.m.
dinner time.
Definitely. Over here in Puerto Rico,
Yes.
I am in Jauco, Puerto Rico, and it's 12 p.m. It's dinner time.
Oh,
Awesome. So feel free to leave comments in the chat,
Yeah.
and feel free to let us know where you're listening from. And please feel free as well to share this stream. We're going to be discussing a lot of great answers to those questions. You might also have questions too. So just join, share the stream, and we'll get started.
it's those last-minute questions coming in, and we have the timer going on in callforcode.org saying 7 days left. So we are sure that you have those last-minute questions. What are the best ways for submission? Like, what are the best practices? So feel free to ask us questions. Any questions, could be submission, could be technology side, or it could also be, the evaluation criteria, anything, any questions, please feel free to ask them now. Yes.
Definitely. So, Bino, how about we start off with a few frequently asked questions?
Sure, we should do that. Yes.
All right, let's get the first one up here.
Sure.
Okay, so can I submit my solution to both the COVID-19 and the climate change tracks? Bino?
So the answer to that would be yes. There are two separate submission tracks. One is for COVID-19 and the other is for climate change. So if your solution, it goes for both, you can do is create two separate repository in your GitHub, make it publicly accessible, and submit it separately. That is what we suggest. So you definitely can. Pedro, you want to add to that?
Yeah, definitely. So if, let's just say you have a project that qualifies for both tracks, you have to make sure you have a separate GitHub repository for each one. So make sure you also take in consideration the video. Submitting to two tracks if you have it on time is great, but also consider that if you have those two ideas and you're not sure which one to submit yet, try to go with the one that meets the best requirements from the judges. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, but if you have any other questions, feel free to pop them in the comment section and we can discuss it live. All right, next question.
Sure. So I submitted my solution for the accelerated COVID-19 track deadline in April. Can I update my application and submit it for the July 31st deadline? Pedro, you want to take that?
Yeah, definitely. So the answer is yes. If you submit by April 27th, your application has the chance to be recognized and developed early. So the greatest opportunity for an immediate and lasting impact. So yes, the answer is yes.
So that's great. That's great.
All right, next question.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted, I just thought should we, we'll also share the links and maybe we'll share the pages as well where they can read the rules and these frequently asked questions as well. Yeah.
Definitely. All right. So next question: how much working code do I need to submit? Well, this is a great question. I think,
Yes.
especially right next to the deadline, everyone's kind of nervous. They see other projects. Maybe you look for the pitches and videos from previous years, but
Yeah.
don't worry. I think the main thing is that Call for Code is a marathon. So Binu, what is the answer?
Yes, I think I'll go for that. So the answer would be the more, the better. The more complete your solution is, your application is, the better it is because it's part of the evaluation criteria. One of that is completion, completeness, and transferability. So how complete is your solution? And guys, if you think you have a idea in mind, try and implement the core part of it and put the rest on the project roadmap for the evaluators to see. So it will also be part of the GitHub README and part of your solution, and they will be seeing, how complete. Because it's very important that your solution is matured enough, to create that impact. So that, Pedro, you want to add something on how, any ideas on how they can make it complete? Because this is a very frequently asked question. Some of them may be just starting off, and what else can how they can make it more matured, maybe.
Definitely, yeah. So a few things here. I can see why it's very frustrating sometimes, right? It's you want to create something, but then you have a problem with your server side code, right? Because you have a pretty ambitious application, and then your backend's not working. You have your front end; it's working perfectly. You made it in React, but you don't have that part functioning, right? So one thing that I recommend is if you can fix it on time for the deadline is just let us know. Be transparent. Put what you have next on the roadmap. You don't have to overstate all the problems that you have. We understand that things come up, but the
Yeah.
most important thing that we want to know for the judging is what works now.
Yeah.
Imagine, the whole goal here is to take these applications and deploy it in the real world. So it's the projects that have real world projects that can be used today via website, an application, or otherwise. Those are going to be judged more favorably than the ones that just have designs and non-working code. So just take that in consideration. But
And
also, if you don't have all your code working, just add what's next in the roadmap.
yes, and just to add on to that, Pedro, so we have these questions going on that, some people rely on the hardware side of it. And because of COVID-19 and the scenarios we are in today, it may not be very much possible to get those components, coming home. So in that case, there are simulators that you can actually work on. And like Pedro just said, put it on the roadmap and maybe post July 31st, if your project is selected and it's going ahead, you're definitely on the right way. Yeah. So just wanted
Definitely.
to add that. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Next question. So this is from a viewer. How can I increase the count of entities in Watson Assistant more than 25? Bino, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so let me just open, we have catalog on IBM Cloud, which would list all the services, right? So probably on the light plan, we might have some restrictions, which is completely free for all the developers out there. Having said that, if there is a way to upgrade, probably that is his question. I'm just looking at, what is available on the light plan, right? Um, so on the light plan, I do see for Watson Assistant, which is what is used to create your chatbots, right? So it allows for 10,000 messages per month, and 5 dialogue skills, each with 100 dialogue nodes. And I'm looking for the entities part. But if there is a restriction, what we would like to suggest is, why don't you just join our Slack group, which is callforcode.slack.com. And we are there. We are developer advocates. We are your mentors, and we have separate channels where also you can ask your question. And depending on your use case, we might want to help you by upgrading your account as well. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, Bino.
Yeah.
All right. So next question. All
All
right.
right. Go for it.
So
Pedro?
Chris asked, I just heard of this hackathon yesterday. Is it too late to join? So, Chris, it's not too late. I think it really depends on what you want to build. You can create very simple applications that are very effective. So, last week, I was speaking with Daniel Crook, a fellow developer advocate and CTO of Call for Code, and we talked about, if you still hadn't started with your application, you just learned about Call for Code last week, you still had time. I still think you do have time. I think many hackathons, they're done during the weekends. I think that it's definitely possible to create a solution in less than a week. You have 7 days, and the submission deadline is July 31st, 11:59 Pacific time. Bino, just making
Yes.
sure. Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
that's right.
So,
That's right.
and if you, let's just say you do not have enough time, no worries, because next year we're going to be launching the competition again.
And I just wanted to add to that, Pedro. So there are many people who ask, like, they wait till the last moment, the deadline. You don't need to wait. So maybe, if you have a first iteration ready today, maybe you just want to go and submit it today, and that would also help you to see what are the different, components that you need to submit. What are the things that you need to get ready with, and then, maybe do a final submission on July 31st. So let's not just wait for the last end moment. Having said that, it's never too late to do some good for the society. It's such a special cause for all of us that brings all of us together. So I'm sure it's not too late. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the previous question, I've just put a link. We'll be sharing you the callforcode.slack.com link with all of you. And if you're getting lost anytime, the place to go is callforcode.org, and there you will get all the Slack details, everything that you're looking for. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. So let me just take a pause from all the questions, Bino, and let's talk about a quick story. This is very important. Our Slack channel
Yeah.
allowed the first year Call for Code team, Project OWL, they're the winners of the global competition, to actually meet. They had never met in person, all of them. And thanks to this community Slack, they were able to meet, collaborate, build their team, and win the first year's competition. So I really encourage everyone to go down. If you haven't joined the Slack, present yourself, your skills. If you're just getting started in Call for Code, you just heard about it, just ask for feedback and collaborate. It's really a space for everyone to join in one place to think of problems that can help in COVID-19, natural disasters, and upcoming challenges that we may have in the future.
Exactly. And just to add, we have already 7,000 people. I just checked it. So we have like
Oh, wow.
7,000 people there. And we mentors are also in. So you can imagine and it's wonderful. You can just form a team. You just have to publish what you're good at and what you're looking for. And there are hundreds of people just coming in to help you. So go join the Slack today. We'll meet you
Definitely.
there.
And that is a perfect segue to our next question.
Yes.
All right. So, Binu, can I submit as an individual or do I need to have a team?
Yes, so Pedro, another very frequently asked question, right? Yes, you can definitely submit the solution as an individual or a team up to 5 members, right? So your team could be up to 5 people in a team. But yes, you want to go alone, go for it. You can submit as an individual also. And just to add to that, the example of an individual who was very successful is Dave Chura, who had the top COVID-19 early submission project, SafeQ. So if you want to look at the details, again, it's all there in the developer portal, developer.ibm.com, call for code, and you can see the submission details as well. So he was just alone, right? Pedro,
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. So basically, I was saying that we should take a quick break to show a little bit more information about SafeQ. This is really to encourage you to look forward to the solutions, right? If you need examples for next year, take a look at SafeQ. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me know, Binu, if you can see it.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
So this
Yes.
is the Call for Code blogs. We have here a lot of great content where you can learn more about Call for Code. This was one of the winners of the early track of COVID-19. The winner was SafeQ. So you can watch a video right here and learn more about the application. Basically, the application lets people use a tool when they're outside, let's just say out of a gas station or in a bank, and there's a long line. Instead of having people wait outside, you can have an application that tells you when is your turn. You could be in the car safely, not exposing yourself to an environment. So great application, it's open source, and you can find more information over here. So apart from that, on our website, you can find information about Call for Code, number of participants that have participated in this challenge. You can also look for resources as well, learn more about the winners that were Project Owl, that what I was mentioning, as well as Prometeo. So I highly recommend that you check out that website for more information to learn more.
Yeah.
All right. So next question.
Pedro, should we also be talking about last year's winner, that is Prometeo, and what makes it so special for them winning, and a little about their solution, right?
Definitely, yes. So Prometeo is a team from Spain. They are comprised of developer, firefighter, and other experts in the area of firefighting. So the main thing that they're trying to solve and what they created is a way to detect the health of a firefighter during an event. So for example, let's just say a firefighter a house is burning, and then someone from command can't really communicate that well with the person inside, the firefighter, right? You want to be monitoring their health, the temperature, the oxygen levels, everything. Apparently, there aren't many tools, or they're very expensive tools to have a monitoring system for the health of each person. What Prometeo did is that they made an open source version that connects an IoT sensors, devices, and it gives you a very simple interface. It tells you just green, yellow, and red of the health of a firefighter. The cool thing about this is that it uses IoT. So it's using Internet of Things as well as IBM Cloud to be able to get all the data and process it. So it's very cool to see how we've seen other project winners collaborate as well. Imagine Project Owl, that they created a communication infrastructure, right? They created a mesh network to help people communicate. You could, in remote areas, let's just say there's a forest fire in California that California suffers a lot from them. There's areas that are not going to have Wi-Fi. They're not going to have ways to connect to the cloud to do processing, right? So we've seen is that there's a cross-pollination between all the Call for Code projects that are open source, right? People start thinking of building blocks and how to combine them. So I'm personally looking forward to see what we see this year, to see if we can keep combining the projects to make a full solution, a full suite of solutions to help people during pandemics, natural disasters, meteors. Who knows what's going to come next.
That was a wonderful one. And it's very important, like you said, the firefighters themselves are part of the team. So that shows how important the domain knowledge is also, right? It's many times that as developers, we just get so focused on the technical aspects of it. It's very important to understand the ground reality and to form a team or, to build on the use case side as well. Having said that, there are a lot of questions coming in. How do we start so soon? We have starter kits, right? So we have Call for Code starter kits for these same 2 tracks, and maybe that could be a starting point, and maybe we can talk about that in some time again. Yeah. So we have a question here.
Yes. So let's see this question. What are the things that we need to submit beside the code base? A PowerPoint, a video of the overall project we have made. So what are all the materials that we need, Binu?
The very first thing that you would need is a GitHub, which is publicly accessible to the evaluators, right? Having said that, what we would like to suggest is on the public GitHub a README page, if you could have your submission name, what is your project name, what is your team name, a short description which would explain your solution maybe in about 10 words. Your submission track, is it COVID or is it climate change? Then a link, again, we will need this link that is public GitHub repository. Also a demo of the project. Now, this demo is a very important part of your submission. It would be 3 minutes at max, and you can just involve all the things which can explain your project. And we also have a recommended format for the video. How could you make a very short, effective video of 3 minutes? So maybe we can discuss a little about that. So maybe the first 45 seconds, you could put exactly what are you trying to solve, the real problem statement, and how have you solved it. In the next 1 minute, 30 seconds, it would be a demonstration of your application, of your solution that you have built. And in the next 45 seconds, you could actually bring up, the roadmap and the next steps and how matured and where exactly you want to go with this to the market. So this could be a demo video. In addition, we need the solution roadmap, like you discussed, and some team information, their email addresses, very basic information. So Pedro, maybe we can touch also upon the submission criteria a bit here.
Yes,
because
exactly. Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen here. All right, so I'm going to callforcode.org/submit. In this link, you can actually see all the details that Binu was saying. So Binu, can you see my screen?
Not yet. It's, I think, probably coming up.
Okay, so let's just wait for that. Let me know when it comes up. But basically, I'm going to be, if you're interested in seeing a list, a checklist, I'm going to be sharing where exactly you can get it.
Yeah, it's coming up. It's there.
Okay, awesome. So again, once again, in the Call for Code website, you go to callforcode.org/submit. And here you can see what are all the items you need for submission. So Binu just mentioned that. You can go ahead and look here. And then again, remember that you must submit on July 31st, 2020, before 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So don't leave it to the end. Make sure you also use an IBM Cloud account. So let's go on to the next question.
Sure.
Are we only limited to using IBM services for our solution, or can we use other cloud services? Binu?
We have no restriction, and we in fact encourage open source. And we have IBM Cloud Services, wherein we have, which includes open source services, including data, AI, and IoT data services. So one rule that we mandated is that you have to use at least one IBM Cloud service. That's the only rule you have. So highly encourage you all to go to cloud.ibm.com, register yourself today, and start off. So as soon as you register, the very first thing that you're getting is a light account. And that light account is free. There are several services available across the categories that I just mentioned. And like I said, you can join the Slack, and if you see you need to upgrade for any services, you can just reach out to us, and we're there to help you.
Yes, definitely. And to add that, if you still don't have an IBM service integrated into your solution, and you don't know what thing to use yet, probably it's a good chance for you to reach out to one of the IBM mentors, the developer advocates like myself and Binu. We can definitely help you identify what is the easiest or straightforward service. For example, let's just say you have one application that it's built in React Native, so you have it for Android and iOS. And then you have your backend in a different server, another provider that's not IBM. You can integrate visual recognition APIs within your application, or you can, for example, you can integrate a database. You can introduce Node-RED to build an API. There's so many things that you can build. And like Binu said, we really encourage open source technologies. We're agnostic, right, to proprietary thing. We want to focus on opening up Call for Code to everyone. So put your stuff on GitHub so then other people can see it. I think that's one of the great things about Call for Code is that it can allow you to collaborate with other projects around the world. So definitely check out, if you have more questions, the Call for Code website, the FAQ, or as well as reach out to us in Slack. All right. Binu, how about you take the next question?
Sure. So does the okay. All right. So Meg, I think her question is very much related to the previous question that we were answering. And to answer that, I think our take is whatever you guys are comfortable in. For example, we just talked about we are cloud agnostic, doesn't matter, right? So if you are comfortable in Azure, continue to build your solution there. The only criteria we have is that we have to use at least one IBM Cloud Services. So you maybe you just pointed one. So that's all we ask, right? So Pedro just explained a scenario if you would want to, how you can engage. We also have storage. We have Cloudant, which is JSON based if you want to use that. So maybe you just create an account, and we have developer advocates on the channel, and you can talk to us and we can discuss on which service you might want to use as part of the criteria. But having said that, you can use which cloud you want to, and exactly. One IBM Cloud Service.
One. All right, next question. Yeah. So let me take this one. What happens next after the deadline? What are the limitations between the 31st and whenever the results are announced? I need to keep working. Is it okay? So let us be clear. We are going to evaluate what you submit by July 31st. What things can you update? Because unfortunately, we cannot evaluate things that are kept working, right? So if we're going to go, we can, since this is on GitHub, we can see the whole history of when everything was submitted. What you can do, what we recommend if you have to keep working, is just open up a development branch, or in a different repository. So then you have your one submission. So what happens next? Basically, we're going to be going through the review process, through judging. There are going to be multiple reviews. And then, Binu, when will judging be announced? The finalists for the competition?
The winners, yes. So that will be announced in the month of October. That's when it happens. And so we'll wait for that. In the meanwhile, like Pedro said, just create another GitHub, maybe just replicate it and continue the development and keep this side frozen so that it's good and you don't defy any criteria there. Yeah.
And just to add real quick, you can update small things like documentation, that's okay, but major, anything with code will be a red flag for the reviewers. So just open up a new branch or a full repository. All right, next question. Okay, so reminder, if you're interested in joining our Slack, highly recommended, so you can collaborate with others and connect with potential team members and people around the world. You can join in callforcode.slack.com.
Yeah, Pedro, I've just got a live update that the winners announcements may be on October 13th live stream. Yeah.
October 13th.
13th.
That's far away, but time flies. I'm excited.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see if we have any more questions. By the way, if you're for those who are watching this, feel free to pop your questions in the comments. We're going to be online for a little bit more time, but it really depends on you. If we don't receive any comments, then we're going to have to cut this stream a little bit short. So answer your questions now. Share this if you have other team members; they might have questions. Help us keep this active. Okay, so let's see. So I have access to any data sets. So I imagine this is referring to what data sets we have on the IBM cloud and with our partners. Binu, where can I look for more resources about data sets that are offered and that can be used in the code competition?
Yes, so we do have lots of resources for Call for Code because we are in the third year of Call for Code. Having said that, we'll just leave you a link where you can go. Definitely developer.ibm.com is one place where you can go and get started. We have starter kits, like we told. We have two tracks. One is for COVID-19 and the other is for climate change. And we have starter kits. We have tutorials for that. For data sets in particular, we have the United Nations and the American Red Cross. They've provided us a lot of data sets, and it's all there for your use. We're also looking to add more, and you can start with these links and then find more details on the Call for Code blog and also the starter kits. We have some data sets as part of the GitHub as well. And then we have UN data and UN Sustainable Development Goals. So, our Call for Code 2020 is based on the three sub-themes, the starter kits of water sustainability, energy sustainability, and disaster resiliency. And these are all based on the UN Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. So if you guys want to take a read on that and find some data sets connected, you can go onto the developer.ibm.com/call for code, get started, and start looking at the different data sets. Pedro, you want to add something if we missed some data sets? Or we good?
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered it. Thank you, Bino. So next question. Have some of the APIs hosted in Cloud Foundry, but after some days it got stopped. Why is it so? So I would recommend, Bitan, that you reach out to our support teams. We have in the Call for Code Slack mentors that can help. In addition, you can reach out to the IBM Cloud support channels.
Yeah. And they answer back pretty quickly, so you don't have to worry. And we really hope, Bitan, that your query is answered quickly.
Yes. Okay, let's give a few more seconds to get some more questions in here.
And we're putting up a link here for the blog, the useful data set for Call for Code 2020. It's all there in developer.ibm.com/call for code.
Yes, we have a lot of great data sets. You can also integrate data from the Weather Channel. You can also, integrate whatever type of data sets that you need to make your application. So make sure that you also link to those sources, right, when you're creating the documentation for your submission. Okay, so next question. What is the criteria to be eligible for the grand prize? Did we have to join from the beginning of this hackathon event? Binu?
No, not really. There are geniuses out there, and I'm sure 7 days is good enough for you to complete the solution sometimes. That's all you need, right? So late nights, maybe. So there is no criteria. The criteria that we have for judging is, there are 4 of them, right? The first one is, like we talked some time before, is about the completeness and the transferability, right? So how fully has your idea been implemented, and can it achieve the impact in real life? Like Pedro just, talked some time back about the winners that we had. The second is the effectiveness and the efficiency. So does the solution address a very high priority area? Does it achieve its goal effectively and efficiently, and can it scale across, the world. And then we have design and usability. How good is your design? How good is your user experience? And the ease of use of your solution? How quickly can it be put to use? Maybe we can talk a little about the three winners from COVID-19 accelerated track. And then the fourth criteria is creativity and innovation. So how unique was the approach to solving a long-standing or a previously intractable problem? So just to sum it up, the first one is completeness and transferability. The second is effectiveness and efficiency. Third is design and usability. And the fourth is creativity and innovation. I think
Thank you, Bino.
Yeah.
So I'm sharing my screen over here so you can find more information about the judging criteria. Bino, can you see it all right?
Yes, perfect.
Awesome. So if you go to the Call for Code website to the challenge, right? callforcode.org/challenge. You scroll down and you can see all the details about the prizes, the $200,000 grand prize, but as well as the first and second, which is $25,000, third and fourth, $10,000, and our special university edition $10,000 prize. So if you scroll downwards, we have a whole section that talks about judging. So here you can see what the areas that Bino were talking about, as well as all the rules and guidelines for the submission. So once again, go to callforcode.org/challenge to read rest of the details.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. So can the ducks, probably referring to the first year Call for Code winner, Project Owl, the ducks, they're referred to little IoT devices that help with communication, right? So can the ducks work on rural school districts to update my progressive web app? So I would direct this question directly to the Project Owl team, if you're referring to that. I'm not sure what is the current status, but I'm sure that it can help you. And as well as if you have any questions about your application and the submission, feel free to let us know in the comments, and as well as connect to us with the Slack. Next question. Okay, this is a really good one. Binu, what is the fresh code rule?
Yes, so the fresh code rule says that the applications must be really new and they should be built for the 2020 competition, right? But having said that, you could be using the code which was previously, there, and it's open source and it's available to all participants before February 26, 2020. So that is the fresh code rule. And so maybe you should reuse whatever is available out there and not start creating everything from scratch, right?
Definitely. Actually, a fun story while we wait for more questions. I participated in the first year of Call for Code before joining IBM. And I was living in Puerto Rico. It was a year after Hurricane Maria struck the island. So Hurricane Maria was a Category 5 hurricane. It left the whole island and a lot of people without food and water, electricity. I couldn't work for about 2 months because it was really tough to get connected, right? So when Call for Code got started and IBM came to Puerto Rico, I had no idea how to build applications with machine learning and artificial intelligence. I had never even built a chatbot before. My background was in software development, creating websites and applications, but never machine learning. I thought you needed a PhD for that. Wink, you don't. So I figured out that the Call for Code team from IBM, they were able to show me the APIs, the documentation. I was able to learn how to do visual recognition. So I started training my machine learning models in IBM Watson that same night. It was a 24-hour hackathon. And from there, I created DroneAid. So DroneAid, long story short, it uses drones to look out for people after a natural disaster. So if people are writing SOS on the roads or on the beaches, this drone could fly over, scan the whole environment, and then look for where exactly people need help. That information can be relayed back to the first responder. Now, that was the vision. I had no idea how to build it, but I was able to find a starter kit that allowed me to do visual recognition. It allowed me to do the training and use the API. So that first version allowed me to win the local competition Call for Code, and eventually I was invited to interview at IBM, and here we are. So my suggestion is that, especially if today you don't have any application yet, or you're interested in building for next year, start with the starter kits. We make them for a reason. That's a good place to start.
I think that was a real life story. And look at the impact. And we had Pedro with us. And this is amazing. And I'm sure that most of the people are benefiting a lot from the starter kits that we have, Pedro, right? We've put the link across where you can just get started today. Again, it's never late. We have, starter kits which is well connected to the problems that society is facing today, including COVID-19. We have like three sub-themes over there, including remote education, community cooperation, and communication, crisis communication. And all these three, as we know, are so important in today's world. So I'm sure that whoever is listening today will take a step by step and start working. 7 days is not too late.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, next question. What are my intellectual property rights for my submission? Binu?
Right. So we have this question answered as part of the FAQ as well. So the teams who have will have all the ownership of everything they built, and the winning team and the 4 runners-up. We just saw the prizes we have. So we have the first prize, and we have 4 runners-up. They will receive the support from the Linux Foundation to nurture their submission as an Apache 2 licensed open source project, and also build a community around it. So we just heard about Project OWL and Prometeo, and I can tell you it's happened. And so we'll ensure that it is freely deployable around the world in the areas of greatest need. And having said this, the participation agreement will contain all and complete details of these rules as well. Yeah.
Very well said. Thank you, Bino.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have about 15 minutes left. We still have some time for you to ask any questions. Please feel free to leave them in the comments. Okay, so while we wait for those, Binu, what applications have surprised you in the Call for Code program? Anyone brings that you like or want to talk about?
I loved one of the recent, in my team, we're like almost like 26 people here, and we keep mentoring. It's like daily mentorship. And there was this one team, it was part of a GSI, and I loved their theme. So that was a time when COVID-19 was taking a very serious shape, and last May. And this team, they created a wristband kind of a thing, which would monitor your health. It would monitor your temperature, right? And also send the data to a central database, and probably if the governments could use that. And, people who are in quarantine, right? How do you track if they're at home? And it was very caring, especially for the old people. Through that, if they could, they know where they are, we know their location, and if there's any emergency, we could get them connected to the SOS as well. So this was one, and there are many, in fact, but this one just rushed into my mind. And I was also part of one of the, we created an application for the Call for Code internal, right? And it's called Sarathi, so which in Sanskrit means the wayfinder. So we are all at home in lockdown, and sometimes our psychological impacts that we have can be great. We're not used to staying at home for such long durations, and we built an application which would help people go out to the places of interest, or wherever they want to visit. It could be temples or spiritual centers, could be malls, could be shopping centers, supermarkets. And the whole idea is crowd management. And so that's some idea we built, and we won, the internal challenge. So, and let me tell you, we just worked on it for 2 nights. That's all we got.
That's amazing. Congrats, Bino.
Yes. So we have a question.
I think that's a really good application, right? Crowd management is going to be very important now moving forward with COVID-19. Yeah. So congrats again. And we look forward to looking at other solutions as well for COVID-19 that we desperately need. So let's move on to our next question from Meg Phillips. Is there any acceleration for projects with time constraints, like mine, which school is starting like now?
Now. Wow. I mean, I love her question. It's like, that's need of the hour. So like Pedro said, maybe, what you can do is by July 31st, you can submit it here. And basically, if you're looking for sponsors, maybe we can have a separate discussion, and maybe we can talk about it more in the Slack channel that we have. Having said that, if you already have sponsored, the right way to go is reach out to your local authorities, to the governments, government bodies, external bodies, whoever looking for, put it on Twitter, put it on the social media, because I can tell you, people are just putting problems out there, and there are 100 people coming back to help. Yeah, so you never know. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Bino. So this is a very good question. Who can participate, right? We are creating solutions that are for everyone, but in our global competition in the Call for Code hackathon, we do have a participation agreement that discusses who exactly can participate. So Bino?
Yes, so we do not have a restriction, like Pedro pointed out, for the Prometeo project. We had from domain experts and the developers, all part of the same team. So developers, designers, entrepreneurs, the criteria is that you have to be over the age of 18, and that's important, or the age of majority in the jurisdiction where you belong to. I can just read this. So we have it in the FAQs. We have employees of IBM, DCC, and the government agencies are not eligible to participate. Having said that, all participants must accept the terms of the participation agreement that we just discussed in callforcode.org/submit, and all the eligibility criteria will be found there. So as soon as you start filling in, you will know, but 18 years of age,
definitely.
Yeah.
How about we talk a little bit more about the team size? So how big should be the team, and what are the restrictions?
Yeah, so like you just talked in the beginning, you can have up to 5 team members in a team. Having said that, you could also go alone. But if you're looking for a team, like we pointed out, come to the Slack channel. We have, the workspace is callforcode.slack.com, and there we have a channel for team building where people actually put in their request and you can form a team. So the team size is 1 to 5 team members in a team. Yeah.
Exactly. And just a quick tip, don't think that you should maximize the amount of people on your team or that you can't do it alone. It all depends on the solution. For example, SafeQ, the winner of the accelerated timeline in Call for Code for COVID-19 track, it's just one person. But we have other projects that are ambitious, that require expertise in not just software, right, to build an application, but hardware, drones, blockchain, domain experts. We have nurses that are participating. We have firefighters that are participating. So it all depends. Your team size, we can't tell you to have this amount of people. It all depends on what you need for your team. So if you need any more team members, like Binu said, feel free to use the Slack. We have a channel called Team Building, and there you can reach out to other people and look for help.
Thank you, Pedro. You explained so well. So we put up the link there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so next question. Get a sip of some coffee.
All right, the next question is coming up.
We gotta summon it. Next question.
They're all thinking,
Okay. So, can I participate if I don't write code or develop software? Good question. Bino, what do you think?
The question is, I don't write code, but can I still participate? Yes, you can. But what we would suggest is if you could find your team, right? Because the evaluators may be looking for the code base, the source code during evaluation. So yes, some piece of code would be required. So the best thing would be, to look for people who can help you with the application development or your solutioning part. But having said that, you can definitely participate, right?
Yes. And just to add there, like I mentioned previously, it's kind of frustrating when you want to create something but you don't have the skills. Well, that's why we have built starter kits, we have built tutorials, we have so many resources online, even an online academy that you can go to learn the skills you need to build your application. So if today you don't know how to code, or you know how to customize HTML, you know very basic things, this is an opportunity for you to learn how to code this year. After this call for code, competition culminates, I think you could focus on learning how to code. You can go to our website, but there's dozens of websites, YouTube tutorials that you can see to learn how to build. And one suggestion I have for you is that if you want to create more complicated applications, but you don't want to be typing all the time code, I would highly recommend you check out Node-RED. Node-RED is a visual tool to create applications, APIs, connect with IoT. It's incredible, and it can speed up the development process, because instead of writing and typing code, you just have different blocks. So I would also encourage you, if you don't know how to code, try to use those visual coding tools to create a solution.
I love that answer. And maybe we should have a separate session for all the non-coders over there and how we get started with Node-RED. It's so good. We have a question, Pedro. Do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So if you know a 14-year-old boy genius, he can't participate. So unfortunately, you have to be 18 years old or older to participate in the Call for Code Global Challenge. You can still participate by creating your own solution, but unfortunately, you won't be able to submit.
Can you think of the thinking time that he's getting? He has, another 4 more years to go.
Years.
And think of that genius boy and, what solution he might be coming up with. So, Chris, go ahead. Be sure that, you can start thinking, and by 18, you would be submitting it for us. Thank you.
Definitely. And by the time that 14-year-old boy gets to college, there might be also the opportunity to participate in the university edition of the challenge as well. So just consider that for coders that are in college, that are younger or older, getting back into college. You can participate in that challenge as well.
So, Pedro, do you want to explain them what is the university edition, all about, and who's eligible for that one?
Yes, sure. So the university edition is a specialized track for students that are actively in university, have to be enrolled. And the grand prize for this track is $10,000 that will be equally dispersed throughout the team. So each student team member will receive the opportunity to interview at a potential role at IBM. So this is a really good opportunity for university students who not only want to create a solution that can impact the world positively, but also get a job at IBM. So there's also going to be a runner-up prize, and they will also receive the opportunity to interview. So we have a university edition. We have in our Slack channel, you can get more information as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to wrap up soon. Let's give a few more minutes for last questions. You can ask questions about the submission, the video. That's actually a very good topic. Binu, while we wait for the rest of the questions, could you explain a little bit more about that video? Because I think that the video is one of the most important things. Of course, the most important thing is the code and that it's working. But the video is a chance for you to communicate how this works. So you have any tips for that demo video?
Yes. So we do have, we've seen last year evaluations where some of the videos crosses the 3 minutes. So that's the time we have for the demo video. So the reason why we compel on a very powerful video is because, we're going to have judges from various fields. They could be technical, they could be, eminent judges, they could be from different NGOs, right? So it's very important that you tie your whole solution together through that video. And I keep saying, it has to have everything. Why, so like I said, in the first 45 seconds, maybe you can have, what exactly are you trying to solve? And it has to have that humane touch and the pressing breeze and the ground truth reality. I've seen a couple of videos where people actually go to the whole, storekeeper, and they, have their discussion on really the real world problem that, he might be in, his business may be failing or something like that. Or it could be a disaster. For example, I'm from Kerala, and we had a real flood situation. So there are a lot of grandmoms who got affected, and they can be just talking, and you could translate it over your video. So that first 45 seconds, if you could, show the impact and what exactly are you trying to solve, and how have you solved it through your solution. The next 1 minute 30 seconds, like I said, you could show the demo of your solution, and this is our suggestion, but you can just change the time here and there. The whole user flow, you could depict that. And the last 45 seconds on, so this is where we are, and we're going to take a solution next to this level, and this is the timeline, and we just need maybe the next 3 weeks to come up with a more profound, mature solution. The next steps of your project in the next 45 seconds. So we have 45, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and the last 45 seconds. This could be one way to do it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Binu. So let's. Oh, why
Thank you,
is Pedro
Pedro.
moving on its own? Okay, this is my. Look
I
at
love that.
It's augmented reality, so we can have another tutorial, another stream to talk about AR and other things. I can instantly take it off if it bothers you. But I'm trying to show my support for Call for Code.
Call for Code.
Good
Awesome.
question.
We're having that session soon, guys. We want it on the comments. We want views for that. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Binu, how about you take this one?
All right. So what about if I'm an online university student, can I qualify for the university challenge? I need to see the rules here, but I think it should allow you. So this award is basically designed to recognize university students. The team, we need to check on this. Maybe Pedro, you want to take that? I'm not really sure if online makes the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. We're gonna have to take that one to Slack. Let me see if I can find the participation agreement where it says more about the university. So let Binu, if you want to take one more last question, I'll try to get that really quickly.
Sure. So we have two people on Slack out there. They are our go-to people. We have Shari and Daniel Crook as well. So if you have any questions, you guys are free to go there. And what is that other question? So yes, before we leave, we definitely want to talk about the starter kits. I'm sure that you've got the links at hand, and we would say that 7 days is never late. Please go ahead and start working on your project. Look at the starter kit. It has all the everything that you need, from the architecture diagram to the use case to the whole description of how we came about it. And having said that, I was part of the team. So is that had AR made in Unity? That's a question for you, Pedro.
Definitely. So it's made with software called Lens Studio. So I'm using Snap Camera. It's a virtual camera that I can add to my screen. Let me just quickly transport myself to Puerto Rico. So now I'm in my environment over here. So this is augmented reality. You can actually add machine learning. This is something new, but coming soon. Watch out for the streams. We'll have more information soon.
Coming soon. He just promised. Yeah. So
by the way, Binu, sorry to interrupt you here, but I believe we do have to verify the university status, but I think most universities are online anyways. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but again, read the participation agreement and reach out to us so that we can give you a straight answer.
Sure. Thank you, Pedro. So what we're suggesting is you guys come, we would talk, but definitely you can start applying for it. And, the participation agreement will have the details for this. Yes. So what are you talking about?
Awesome. I think that's pretty much it with the questions. I think we're ready to wrap up. The hour went flying, Binu. I don't know about you, but this was a lot of fun.
Awesome. It was so good.
Definitely. So, if you have any more questions, once again, go to the Slack. We have a lot of mentors that are helping you right now. We have one more week left, 7 days for the final submission. Try to submit the day before. That's what my recommendation is. So then you don't have to worry about it on Friday of next week. But just remember that your submission has to be submitted completely before July 31st at 11:59 Pacific time. Once again, if you have more questions about the rules, you can go to the callforcode.org website where you can find the answers to those questions and learn more about the prizes, judging, etc. So, Binu, want to add anything else?
I'm good. I think they are all pumped up. They're going to submit the solutions. Look at the prize details, guys. You don't want to miss it. It's $200,000 and a lot of international recognition. So all the best from our side, Team IBM.
All right. Take care and
you.
good luck.
Bye-bye.